All right, Bidenomics is falling flat with voters as America continues to struggle, and the U.S. national debt hits an all-time high of $34 trillion. We need to restore optimism in this country, and if the numbers said we should be optimistic, it doesn't matter. We're not feeling it. My next guest is one of the world's most successful entrepreneurs ever. Grew up in Mississippi, attended Yale with the likes of John Kerry, George W. Bush. In his economics class then, he wrote a paper describing the concept for overnight package delivery, which would later become this thing called FedEx. He cares about this country, fought for this country, and he's worried about the record all-time debt, as well as getting off the dollar as the world's currency. Let's bring in Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx, a decorated Marine in his own right in Vietnam, where he fought. He used his experience with the military's logistics systems to build up his transportation and delivery company. Fred Smith, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Brian, thanks for having me, and congratulations on your wonderful book about Teddy Roosevelt and Booker T. Washington, two great American heroes I've known about all my life.
I know you look up to Teddy Roosevelt, too. He's big in your family. But can we talk about the $34 trillion debt? And in layman's terms, why do you think it jeopardized our security?
Well, Brian, we're not paying much attention to the fiscal posture of the United States. It's really incredible to me. And as you know, the night I saw you in New York on the 5th of December, I gave a speech that night about this situation, which is up on fedex.com/trade. But some of the numbers I cite are stunning. First, as you just mentioned, we have a $34 trillion debt, which increased by $1 trillion in the last 90 days that we have fostered onto the backs of our grandchildren. Second, our fiscal deficit is running at about 6 or 7% per year, which is about double what we are spending for the national defense. And last, we're paying interest at the moment that is more than what we are spending on the national defense and homeland security. So the congratulations that are going around about 200,000 jobs in December were really juiced by these deficit expenditures by the government. And the majority of all the jobs that have been produced over the last 18 months have been in government, education, healthcare, and restaurants and travel. So we're not improving the productivity of the country through invention and innovation and expanding our markets and trade. So this is very dangerous.
So I know you also have very patriotic knowledge of the military and fought for our country, where you won quite a few, earned quite a few awards. But you said to look at BRIC. That's an acronym. That's a group of nations, enemies of our country for the most part, head up now by Russia. They have one objective, it seems, and that's to dethrone us as a military and economic superpower. And they're aiming at the dollar. How?
Well, the dollar has been the reserve currency since the end of World War II, when the U.S.-led Allied coalition set up at the Bretton Woods Conference, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. So a great deal of America's soft power is the fact that we provide the reserve currency. Well, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, set out a couple of years ago to enlist a lot of countries around the world to have an alternative currency settlement system. And just this last week, 4 additional countries joined it. So if we lose the dollar supremacy, we will not be able to live on borrowed money. But no other country can do that. So this is the most unreported initiative against the United States power and ability to prosper that we've seen in a long time.
Iran, China, Russia. You have other countries, Saudi Arabia, all gathering against us. But real quick on you. You're 4 years old, you lose your dad. No one ever cut a wake for you. You had to make your way on your own in life. You started a recording studio. It still exists today. But you had this vision of FedEx. How do you describe, Fred Smith, where'd that vision come from? And looking back now, was it pure drive? Was it brilliance? Was it an instinct? Why are you so successful?
Well, first of all, you mentioned my service in the Marine Corps. my Marines accomplished a lot of stuff. I just ran around and talked on the radio and tried to support them. The original idea for FedEx was a very simple observation, and that was the world was going to automate. And of course, today we're completely automated in our pocket with our iPhone or our Android device that has our whole life in it. So it was just that recognition. And then, as you mentioned, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, 2 in Vietnam, and I watched the logistics system that the military used and realized that this automated world that was coming was going to have an entirely different type of demand pull logistics system rather than supply push like beans, bullets, and ammo.
Fred Smith, one of the most successful Americans on pure ingenuity and work ethic. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.